Welcome to this week's installment of Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale with Don Henniger. I'm Don, and with me, as always, is my community champion, Kevin Maxwell.
Don Henniger, how are you?
Kevin, I'm terrific. How are you?
Good to see you, man.
You're working too hard today.
I know.
Stop working so hard,
I
man.
know.
Come on.
You look good, buddy.
Well, I'm trying. I'm hiding it pretty good. I'm looking good because we got a really good lineup of two guests today.
Yeah.
This is going to be a special day for us.
I'm looking forward to it.
They're with a group called the Women's Collective. It's a group of professional women focused on inspiring and elevating female leaders. They say they have all the positive perks of a good old-fashioned boys' club, but they're for women. And the goal is to support initiatives that open doors for women to get into leadership roles in our community. And that includes providing financial backing for programs that do just that. So, Kevin, this is exactly what our community needs.
I was thinking the same thing. This is exactly what we need to balance out our male-dominated or centric community. This is a great organization. I'm so glad they're on here to talk about today.
I love it. We have two board members with us today, Jenna Kohl and Kris Cano. Welcome to both of you. So happy that you're here with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you very much.
So let's talk a little bit about your background, your career, and then what inspired you to get involved with the Women's Collective. And Jenna, why don't we start with you?
Sure. My entire career has been committed to community service. It's my passion. I was an assistant city manager in Illinois for a long time and was fortunate to be able to come to Arizona and through a couple career changes landed at DC Ranch. And so this nonprofit initiative really aligns with what my passions are, and I'm grateful to be able to do it. And it combines leadership, community service, and giving back to the community, and that's what we're all about.
Fantastic. Where'd you grow up?
Illinois.
In
I'm
Illinois,
a Midwest
okay.
girl,
Yeah.
to the bone.
Yeah, I'm so happy when we see all these Midwesterns come to Arizona, right? For sure. Kris Cano, you are the only person that's appeared on our podcast, and we're nearing number 100 now, twice. And here you are again. Welcome back for a different reason this time, but welcome back. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you very much. I spent 28 plus years in government. And so that has really been where I got the inspiration to get involved with the Women's Collective, because I worked primarily in a male-dominated industry the majority of my career.
You sure did.
And so I said, what a better way to get involved in order to, mentor other women leaders and provide some advice on the struggles that I had during my career. And what a great way to get connected outside of city government with other professional women leaders that I could also look up to.
That's fantastic. Now, Kris was the Forensic Services Division, director of that division for the Scottsdale Police Department, which is why we had her on almost a year ago. And that was one of our favorite episodes, I got to tell you.
It was a good one.
Remember all the ins and outs of what she did behind the scenes in the lab and taking care of all the needs of the police department?
You know how we always talk to Don about how we have a lot of Scottsdale leadership alumni in here on the show? Well, I think all four of us are alumni.
Oh, we are. That's
Yes.
right. Yeah. That's
Class
fantastic.
34, like never before.
Legacy 33.
32. Boom.
29.
Yeah, we got them all covered. That's fantastic.
I'm the older guy in the room
Yeah, you
as far
are,
as
man.
alumni goes. Yeah.
Oh, you got the biggest smile, so that's okay. Hey, Jenna, talk a little bit about the collective. When did it get started? How did it get started? Who was behind it? And then let's talk a little bit about what you all do.
Sure. The vision came about in 2019. There were 5 of us that initially formed the board and started working on it. And the driver was exactly what you started with. We wanted an opportunity to give back to the community in a big way. We use the Charros and the Thunderbirds as our model. They're both powerful organizations that have raised a ton of money and really developed a leadership role in the community. And so that was part of our inspiration, but we really wanted that opportunity for women. It's a community effort to ensure that all voices are being represented in decisions that impact our homes, our community, our companies and that sort of thing. And our focus happens to be on women. And we, as Kris said, wanted an opportunity to give back. So we held our launch event on 2/20/2020 at Smoka. They happened to be featuring women artists. And of course, we know what happened a month later. The pandemic hit. So our timing, initially was, oh gosh, here we are. But, it turned out to be a blessing because we used that first year really to build our foundation, build a really strong membership of diverse, talented women that all share this passion. And we had some events to really kind of develop who we are as an organization. And over the course of the, past couple of years, we've raised over $50,000.
Have you really?
Towards our mission, we have.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Wow. How many fundraisers have you had?
We have had 2 major fundraisers. We're about to do our 3rd, and that is the night run that is coming up in November
right.
and associated with Canal Convergence.
That's fantastic. That's a lot. That's a lot of progress in just 2 years. So, Kris, tell us a little bit about how many people you had. So you had started with five sort of founders, if you will. But Jenna, were you one of them?
I was.
Okay. Who are the other ones? We probably know them all, right?
Sure. Yep. You probably do. Many of them are Scottsdale alum, like you as a leadership alum. But Jonah Davis.
Sure.
Kira Peters.
Yes.
A name probably familiar
She's
to
been
you.
on our
Been
podcast.
on the podcast, yep.
Yeah.
Lina Calvite
Okay.
and Susan Cardullo.
Yeah.
And I were the 5 founders.
Fantastic. So, Kris, how many people are in there now? What have you grown to?
I believe we have 26 members, and from all different types of industry. We have people that are in public service. We have people that are entrepreneurs. We have a lot of people that are at the helm of the organization, the CEO or the executive director. So it's a really interesting group of women that can bring a lot of interesting things forward. And the best part about it is that money that Jenna just said that we raised, we get to give it away.
Fabulous. Yeah.
So who's benefited so far?
Well, I'm glad you asked because this is breaking news.
Oh.
We are doing our 2nd round of grants. We went through a grant application process, and we have not announced them yet other than to the recipients. So we thought we'd save that to share with you, but we're really excited. We have 4 grant recipients this year, and we're giving them funding for all programs that develop leadership skills in women. The first is Dress for Success. They have a professional women's group. The second is Take the Lead Women, and that's to help entrepreneurial women get venture capital funding, which only a small percentage of VC goes to women-owned businesses. So it's really to try to increase that number. We also have the Arizona Coalition Against Sexual and Domestic Violence. They are going to help prepare some of their members to serve on nonprofit boards. And then the last organization is Scottsdale Library.
Really?
They're going to use the funding for an exhibit to highlight influential women in Scottsdale's history, as well as to do a writer's workshop where women can tell their stories and share their voices. So we're really thrilled to partner with those 4 agencies.
Great causes.
That must be a lot of fun to have a grant process and finally write checks.
Oh, absolutely. Honestly, that is where it's at. We want to raise the funds. We work really hard to do that. But giving it away, there's so many impactful organizations out there that are already doing this work to help women get a seat at the leadership table. And we have the opportunity to help them fund their programs. I mean, really, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah. Kris said you had 26 members. Are you reaching out and kind of curating your membership, or are women wanting to join your organization, or how's this working?
We actually, we have a process where we want to be really intentional about how we grow our organization. We wanted to make sure that it could be a tight knit of women that work well together. It's why we have done membership activities like golf outings. A lot of it seems to center around wine.
Oh, yeah.
There's a theme
Funny.
there.
Funny,
I know,
funny,
isn't that
right?
funny? But we're at the point in our growth where we're ready to add new members.
Really?
And so we have a process where we meet with people that might be interested in getting involved and talk to them and see if there might be a fit and bring them on board.
I was just wondering, because it seems like the people that you have that we know are familiar to us in the community, and they're already rock stars already.
Oh, our membership is amazing. I could brag. That would take a whole other podcast to talk about the amazing women that are part of this effort. But we would like to add to it. So we encourage women to reach out to us if they want to get involved and make a difference.
So what's the process? You need to meet them, obviously, and find out who they are. And Kris, do you interview them then, or how does that work out?
Well, when I was interested in joining the Women's Collective, I actually came to one of the quarterly meetings that they had.
Okay.
And so I got a sense of how the organization ran, kind of what their mission and values were. And again, this was when they were just starting out. And so it was really, really interesting to me. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. This is like, I can get on the ground level and I can actually make change and I can see change. And so I was all in. So to me, that was the best way to kind of meet the other ladies and for them to probably feel me out as well, to see if I am a good fit for the organization.
So do you guys have sort of not a hit list, but a sort of recruitment list of women out there that you kind of have your eye on that you'd love to invite into the collective?
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
That's a long list because, there are so many women out there that are already influencing Scottsdale in amazing ways.
Exactly.
And we would love to have them be part of our organization.
We talk about grooming leaders and how, particularly for government jobs or council or boards and commissions, how we're always looking for more candidates and more people to step up. This seems like it'd be a great organization to make that happen.
It really is, because like Jenna has said, it's like we do everything from social activities to raising money for grant funds. And we also kind of brainstorm on how we can mentor other women in this space. And so all of those things, whether your interest is, more from an educational perspective or is it more philanthropic, you can pick any one of those things and join a committee and get really involved and really have a say on how the future of this organization is going to be.
It makes perfect sense. Everybody's got a chance to have a voice, right?
Absolutely. We want to practice what we preach and what our mission is. So we want people to, grow their voices out in the community and make a difference and contribute back to Scottsdale and beyond. But we also do that within our organization.
Yeah.
We're very member involved.
I've always looked around the Valley corporate structure and said, there's never been enough women CEOs, never been enough women on corporate boards. I think it's changing a little bit now, and particularly it is in the nonprofit world, I think, but there's still a big need there. And I just think groups like this that can encourage more women to be recognized that way and to be put in positions of leadership is just so important for our community.
Absolutely, and especially after the pandemic, because when people return to the workforce nationwide, men returned in more numbers than women, and we're still about 1 million women less than in the working world than prior to the pandemic. So there's work to be done, and it was 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but we continue that mission.
And the pay gap, it's closing a little bit, but still pretty darn wide. We need more activity like that. We need more, recognition of the talents and skills that women bring to these jobs, right?
Right. And just a teaser, but Equal Pay Day is, something that we have on our radar to try to recognize in the city next year. And whether that's a resolution before city council or in some other way, but just to bring some attention to it. And, it's not just the mission of the Women's Collective. We want to work together as a community to help increase diversity at the leadership table.
Makes sense.
Absolutely. Have you seen what's going on with women's sports lately, Dawn? I don't know if you're taking notice of that, but it seems like there's been a lot of really good ratings increases for women's sports.
Soccer and basketball.
The World Cup we've had, the NBA, the WNBA is having record number of viewers this year.
Yeah.
All kinds of great things are going on in women's athletics right now.
It's good to see.
Not related to what you guys do, I know, but I thought I just throw it out there.
Well, it raises the exposure, and you got leaders there. I mean, who would say you wouldn't get a leader from somebody like the Mercury or somebody to
Absolutely.
be part of what you're doing to add the exposure and the notoriety that will come with that. And all the star power that you already have, you just add to that way, right?
I think it's important too that there's women role models. Like the workforce now, especially the younger generation, when they're looking for employment and they're looking for a profession, they're looking to see who is leading that organization. And it's really important for women to be role models to other women that are rising in their career. That's
really important. You guys do a mentoring at all? Do you have a mentoring program?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. That's one of our emerging programs. We have a mentoring advocacy and education committee, and 2 of their initiatives. One is a mentorship roadshow that is planned for February, so details forthcoming on that.
Yeah.
And then we're also creating an intern program. We're calling it our Emerging Leader Mentorship Program, ELM, after a tree.
I like it.
Growing your roots and your
it.
leaves, stretch into the sky. We do what we can. We have to have some fun. That's one of our, kind of under the radar missions is to have a lot of fun while we're doing this as well. But so we want to recruit, and we're working with some of the local, educational institutions to develop that program and bring somebody on that can get some leadership experience working within our organization. And also, we're all volunteers.
Yeah.
While we do have some retirees, most of us have full-time plus jobs.
Right.
And so having an intern that can give us an extra hand is going to go a long way.
That's fantastic. So speaking of other groups, do you collaborate with other groups? I know you give grants out to worthy causes that are, aligned with your mission. Do you collaborate with other groups in terms of just programming or ways to recruit leaders? How does that work in terms of other groups?
We haven't yet, but it's certainly on our radar. We're stronger together, right? And so we've had some conversations with other entities. But, as Kris said, we're still an emerging nonprofit. We're still fairly new. So one step at a time, but definitely we want to in the future.
Just keeping nonprofits running sometimes is a full-time job, or at least a full-time job for a team of volunteers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Wow, that's tough. So you got your big fundraiser coming up in November, the night run. Kris, what's that all about?
So the night run is it is our largest fundraising activity with the Women's Collective, and it's going to take place on November 4th at 5:30 p.m. on the Arizona Canal in kind of conjunction with Canal Convergence.
Good.
Last year was our inaugural event, and we had amazing sunset, so we're going to sell it that way. And it really is for us to raise money to give back to those women leadership grants that we just discussed earlier. So if you can come out, the weather's going to be great. We know how great it is in November, and you can run, walk,
Is it like
jog.
a 5K then?
It's a 5K event.
It's a 5K,
yeah.
okay.
It's a 5K event, and it starts at Goldwater and 5th, goes down the canal, and comes back. So we're really excited to put that on again, and in order, and to get a lot of support from sponsorships this year.
Might there be a glass of wine at the end of the trail?
I think we
yes.
can make that happen.
I think it's got to figure in there somewhere, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
That's pretty cool. So the more money you raise, the more money you can give out, right?
Yes.
So do you have future plans to grow the ability to raise more money? I mean, is there a dues structure? Do members pay dues? Is that part of what the deal is?
They do. And the way we're structured is all of the membership dues go to maintaining our website, member activities, et cetera.
Yeah.
That allows us to use 100% of our net proceeds from our fundraising to go to our grant program, our mentorship program, and our internship program.
That's fabulous. Yeah. And all those groups benefit from all your hard work. That's fantastic.
Yeah. What do you have planned in the future for, well, you kind of answered earlier when you talked about the internship and the mentees and stuff like that. But I was like, what plans do you have for like younger women?
Emerging leaders is definitely important to us. And we've actually talked about our grant awards in the future, expanding the groups that could benefit from that program to emerging leaders. We have done things, for example, we have sponsored the ASU Women's Tri-Team, and they use those funds for leadership development programs. If you talk about,
athletics.
sports, I mean, they've got one of the best triathlon teams in the country. And so we got to work with them, and that was really a treat. And that's important. We also have some members who are earlier on in their careers, and gosh, they're already dynamos. I mean, those of us that have been around a while are, learning more from them than they're probably learning from us. So we're really fortunate in that regard.
That little peer pressure keeps things going pretty well, doesn't
Oh,
it? Yeah,
yes,
can
that
motivate you a
energy
little
level,
bit. Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you got to have a diverse group, right? And they have you can tell by looking at the roster, they have a nice diverse group of people with experience. So it's good to have some ages in there as well.
Absolutely.
So you look down the road, Kevin started talking through this a little bit, but look down the road, say you're 5 years from now, what do you see the collective in terms of maybe the money you're raising or the members you have? What do you see as a potential growth for the Women's Collective as you keep going?
I really feel like we're going to be the gold standard here. We're going to be where people want to go to get connected, to get networked. And one of the cool underlying things that has happened is a lot of the ladies in the 3 years that I've kind of been involved have gone on to do other things in their career, right? And it's amazing. Even that's maybe an indirect mentorship, is to be supportive of those other ladies as they move on and up in their career. That's really super rewarding, at least to me, on a personal level.
That's fabulous. Yeah. So is there any personal success stories that come to mind when you think about that, either for yourself personally or just from what you've seen other members go through? Just like some personal victories that came out of the connections that you're making with everybody in the Women's Collective?
I'll share on a small scale a story. At the end of our quarterly membership meetings, we do a membership spotlight, and we get to learn about each other a little bit more. And at the end of one of our most recent ones, one of our younger members shared that since she has gotten involved in the Women's Collective, she has found her voice, and she's found her courage and when I talked about a dynamo, she just has made such a big difference in our organization. The reality is she didn't have to tell us that she felt that growth. We all saw it.
Yeah.
And she has since joined our board, and we're thrilled to have her. And just to see that progression within our own organization speaks to what we can do, throughout Scottsdale, throughout the Valley, and even nationwide.
It's fabulous.
So it's just a
growth.
small story, but
great.
I think it illustrates, that there's opportunity there. And we've talked a lot with Dress for Success and Take the Lead Women about getting our members involved in meeting with their constituents and the people that they serve to make those connections. So it's almost like a spider web that just keeps on growing in
perfect.
the best way.
It's the most effective sometimes, right? The way it works out like that. So do you guys place women on nonprofit boards like some of the groups that you just awarded the grants to? Are you guys involved with them from a board structure, or how does that work?
I don't think we actually place people on boards.
We haven't yet, but we've talked about that as a future program. We have big goals.
Yeah, exactly.
We have big goals.
Sounds like nothing's off limits right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and some of the meetings, it's very, I guess, humbling to me as these professional women are talking, and they're talking at like a level that I can't even keep up with,
right.
About all the things that they want to do or they want to bring to the Women's Collective and how they're going to do it. So it's not just like ideas. It's like these women have plans on how to get it done. And so I just love being part of that.
And one of our members, it was actually her daughter, who is a college student, who came and pitched the concept of the internship program.
Oh, nice.
And so we took her idea and are running with it for that. So that's just, another example of where it's expanded beyond our members.
Well, when you look at your roster and you look at the skills that you all have collectively, you've got a small community all there by itself with skills that kind of cross through all disciplines and all parts of life, which is really cool. So you want to keep building on that for sure.
You said that, is Jonah the president right now?
She is.
Is that a 1-year term?
We have told her it's a life sentence.
Of course.
Right?
She's not here, so it is.
Exactly. But no, it's important that we talk about getting voices at the table. We want there to be sustainability in our organization. So I had the opportunity to be in that role for the first few years. Jonah is now doing it. And, we want to develop other people that can take that over. So it's not dependent on, one particular person or group of people. So that's really important to us. So life sentence, maybe a little bit less.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit less.
Yeah. Sounds like you're really sharing it and letting people out, getting them opportunities.
That's the goal. Like I said, we want to walk the talk. I mean, we want to, demonstrate that we're doing within our own nonprofit what it is that we want other organizations to step up and do.
You guys are both dynamic leaders, so let's talk a little bit about the city of Scottsdale for a second. Give us your vision of what you would love to see the city of Scottsdale be 5 years from now. Kris, why don't you start, since you used to work for the city of Scottsdale?
I did. Wow, that's a loaded question.
I know. You can say what you want to now.
I can
You're
say
free.
what I want to now. I would love to see more women in the executive leadership role. I think when I actually left, I was one of the highest ranking, especially a minority female within city government. So I didn't see a lot of people like me. And I didn't have that peer relationship that would have been really nice to have with all of the stress and the pressure as you move up in the organization, to have someone like me or even similar to me in that role. So I hope that they continue to support women in leadership roles, provide them opportunities equal to men in the organization, and really have a seat at the table. That's what it's all about.
Fantastic.
And Scottsdale has, been at the forefront and the role model for other municipalities on so many different things across the nation.
Yep.
This is one area where, having diverse leadership at the city really could be another area where, and of course they have a number of initiatives in place to support DEI in the community and that sort of thing. But I think, it's just another opportunity there.
Pride in the city. This whole podcast is always about what's good about Scottsdale, because there's so much good. We can talk about it forever. And you guys are talking about it right now. It's great to hear your vision of that.
Indeed.
What do you do for downtime? Start with you, Jenna. Kris, go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry. I dance.
You dance? Yeah, very cool.
Yes, I dance. That's what I do.
What kind of dance?
Team. Usually like Latin, I'll do Zumba
Oh, nice.
or I'll take a ballet class.
Okay.
And so that's what I do to kind of to let off steam. I'm also a very, very avid vinyl record collector.
Really?
Yeah. So anytime I go to a new city or a new place, I'll Google vinyl records, and I love to just go through and find that gem. I don't really go with an agenda. I just kind of go and see. And for whatever reason, maybe it's my, structured personality that really de-stresses me.
What's your prized piece?
Well, my favorite album is Billy Joel, The Stranger.
Okay.
And he's
Can't go
coming in
wrong.
concert.
He is coming in
that's
concert in
right.
December,
Yeah,
so I'll be at that one. But my most The Cure, Standing on the Beach, was a hard one to find.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's good. It's good. Yeah. I miss the album days.
Yeah.
All the great
I miss the
artwork was
liner
on there.
notes. I miss the liner notes because the other day I wanted to find out who the sax player was on a particular song, and I worked and never found it.
Can't find it. Yeah. We have to Google that stuff now, huh?
Google. I was on Google for an hour and couldn't figure out. I finally reached out to the artist and see if I can get it that way.
But some of the best artwork over the last 30 years is on album covers, and I miss that now. You don't get that in the smaller versions. You don't get it
you don't get
digitally, for
people don't
sure.
sell music anymore.
Yeah,
So
exactly right. It's all streamed, right? Jenna, what do you do when you got some downtime?
I'm outdoors. If I have some downtime, I'm outside. I love the preserve. I spend as much time as I can in the preserve, getting ready to hike rim to rim Grand Canyon.
Oh, great. Have you done it
At
before?
the end of this month, I have not. First time, September 30th. So
the
going
end
to
of
give that a go
September.
one day, rim to rim. So doing that. Hiked through the country of Jordan earlier this summer with my son. So I love to be outside.
Whoa, better talk about that for a second. What was that like?
Oh, a trip of a lifetime. Honestly,
bet.
we were going to hike the Inca Trail in Machu Picchu, and it got closed down because of some civil unrest. And so we had to shift, and we decided to go hike through Jordan. We went through the Wadi Rum and camped with Bedouin and hiked Little Petra to Petra, and it was eye-opening to really explore the Middle East and be in
And
a
what
part
made
of
you
a
choose
country.
Jordan?
That is a great question.
Yeah.
If you would have told me in January that I was going to be in the Middle East in May, I would have laughed at you. But I have a sister-in-law who worked for the Jordan Embassy in D.C. for many, many years, and she recommended that we give it a try.
Wow. And so that's almost a bucket list thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, unforgettable.
Wow.
But I mean, just to be somewhere where you've never been and the culture and everything are so different, and get a respect for people, on the other side of the world.
And hiking there, you saw a lot of the country that you ordinarily a normal tourist wouldn't see, right? Because you're feeling the ground walking through. Yeah.
Yes, but I will tell you, walking through sand in the desert, that was a one and done for me. I don't need to do that again.
That's over. That's off the bucket
That's
list.
right. Check.
Don, you're a hiker.
Yeah, I love to hike in the preserve. I'm a big fan of the preserve.
Yeah, you're a Lost Dog guy.
I'm Lost Dog, not this time of year, but
Yeah.
Lost Dog, I'm out there 2 or 3 times a week during when the weather's decent. Yeah, love it out there.
What a gem that we have that in our community. We're so fortunate.
I'm so weird. I'm a golfer. I'm always looking for lost golf balls out there. Realizing there's no lost golf balls.
No.
Usually when I'm walking around the desert, I'm either walking a lost dog or I'm walking on a golf course looking for my golf balls.
There you go.
There you go. Has anybody thought about doing the Camino de Santiago? Are you familiar with that?
I'm not, no.
Are you familiar?
It's in Portugal, isn't it? Spain and Portugal?
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about that. What is
Yeah,
it?
well, our guest next week just got off of it, so it's just a pilgrimage.
That's right. She did, yeah.
Yeah, but you hike through Spain, and then you end up in Santiago. Well, I can't remember. I'm not going to say it right.
Yeah.
But you end up on the church on the coast, and it's like a 1,200-mile hike or something
It's
like
a
that.
big deal.
It's a big deal.
Wow. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
We're going to get some details on that next week then. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Kevin, I think they can count on 2 fans of the Women's Collective with you and me sitting here right now.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to 5 years from now because I know the leadership of the Women's Collective will put them in a position where I'd like to see them, as big as the Charos and the Thunderbirds.
Of course.
Giving away hundreds of $1,000s a year to charitable causes that help promote women's entrepreneurship and leadership.
Well, no pressure. That's what we're expecting.
Yeah.
But also from a friendly standpoint, you got 2 fans right here. So anything that we can do to help you along the way, I mean, more power to you. I think what you're doing is fantastic. It's good for our community. It's good for our city. It's good for people. So fantastic stuff. Kevin, any other questions for our 2 stars today?
Nah, just thank you so much for what you guys do for our community, not only with the Women's Collective, but you guys are also leaders in other ways too. So thanks for doing that for Scottsdale.
Absolutely.
Thanks for your support, and we hope to see you at the night run.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, but what? Tell me the date again.
November 4th.
It's a Saturday, right?
It's a Saturday.
Okay.
And it starts at 5:30.
5:30. Okay, Kevin, on the calendar.
It's okay. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Canal Convergence.
All right, Jenna, Kris, thank you so much for sharing the story of the Women's Collective today and for sharing your stories as well. Outstanding group of leaders with a mission that would benefit us all. And we have two of these leaders sitting right here with us today. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having us today.
And thanks to all of you for listening. We'll see you next week for another edition of Today and Tomorrow in Scottsdale.